Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl BRANDIJENAE, and we are back with another live video. Of course, it is Monday nights, so you know what it is. It is Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 10, episode 5. Nell, what is it? Nell to the No. That's the name of episode 5's excuse me. Yes, that is the name. That's the title for episode 5. Let me finish this little post real quick so I can let the cousin crew know we are live. Okay. Okay, drop down. Give me your rating. I forgot to do my rating post today. There we go. Okay. We got that all done and out the way. All right, so we back. Love and Marriage Huntsville. Love and Marriage Huntsville. So, first things first. Let me know, what are you rating this week's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville? Of course, I forgot to do a post. If you already are subscribed to my channel, you can go over to the community tab. There usually is a poll for us to do, but I did forget to post that today. I'll post it for tomorrow, but you can drop down in the comments and let me know. 7 to 10. Of course, 4 to 6 is medium, and 1 to 3 is we didn't like at all. Okay. I'll go through the review and I will let you know what I am rating this week's episode at the end of the review. Let me take a drink of water, y'all, quick. You see, I've been doing a lot of talking. You can tell my voice is going away. I'm gonna have to give me some cough drops. Okay, so this week's episode opens with Nell. She is on her way to Lance's house. She's pulling up to Lance's house, walking in. She got her bag full of goodies, charcuterie boards, wine, everything she needs. And basically she decides to check. She's checking in on Lance. He's a new dad. None of us knew this happened until we got back here. Poor Destiny. She has the worst luck with men. But she's checking in on him to see how he's doing. So this is where we found out he's a single dad. I have a note here because I wanted to say, okay, let's discuss what is a single dad. Now, it did sound like, at least what I consider a single dad, is what is happening to him. It seems like he's the primary caregiver, but I am not certain if that is because he has shared custody or full custody. So I did mention that they didn't make mention of how he is a single dad. So I kind of had the eyebrows raised with that, because one thing about me, I am a girl's girl, and one thing I am not gonna do is sit up and let no man complain about being a dad. And you say the things that all women have to go through. And now I really could have jumped through the TV on you, because you sitting up there with the puppy dog eyes, like you sympathizing. Maybe he should have wore a rubber. He got 3 other kids. You didn't know what taking care of kids was? Whose fault is that? We're gonna get down to what his dad had to tell him, because I agree with his dad. And sometimes now I have 3 boys myself, but I always have said, like, I feel like sometimes moms of boys, like, we baby them a little too much. And what I mean by that is, I have seen this in my own real life, where moms will basically take the role of a parent to their sons' children. Um, because I guess they don't think he's capable because he's a male, I guess. I don't know what the reason for it is, because you should be taking care of your own child. And getting up in the middle of the night, feeding a newborn is just part of the process. We all tired. Go ask any mom if she's tired. And I'm kind of like, it's okay for you to have help, But even for Nell to talk about, well, do you think it'd be helpful if I come for 2 days out of the week? 2 days out of the week, he better learn how to deal with his own child and get his tail up and go to work the same way every other parent would have to do it. And the fact that he's a single dad, maybe that'll just help him think about where he goes sticking his, Peter in, his Peter Weeder. That's what I, next time. So he don't have any other illegitimate kids that he might have to take care of on 1 week on and 1 week off. That's your lesson to learn, buddy. Let me get back to what I had in my notes. So Chris describes how hard it is being a dad and he owns a construction business, and oh my God, I don't feel sorry for him at all. Not one bit. I actually blame that on Carlos King. I had a rant about Carlos King a few episodes back, right? Remember I said, one thing, I love Carlos King, I root him on, but one thing he does that annoys me, and this is all his doing, which is why he must have put this all up in this scene, was he thinks that because he has close proximity to Black women, that he is the spokesperson to men for Black women. That he is the person that is able to explain women to other Black men. And I don't like it because I don't care that somebody told you something. You're not a woman, so you're not able to describe anything a woman go through. And I know we're talking about a single dad, but I feel like Carlos, this is where you talk about people having being tone deaf. Right, that's a tone deaf. You don't compare a single dad to a single mom ever. That's just how I feel. Ever. Especially like I'm saying. So that kind of wants me to, I want to get into the description of what a single dad is. So if you tell me that you're a single dad, then I am going to assume that that your children live with you every day. Not 1 week on, 1 week off, not every weekend, and or not spring break and summertime, like that. Those descriptions don't describe a single dad to me. But a dad that has their child and it's them and they are the primary caregiver every single day, that's a single dad, because that's what a single mom is. And so if you don't fall into that category, you're not a single dad. And I don't have a lot of sympathy either. And maybe I should, speaking as a former single mom, maybe I should, but I don't, because I haven't met a lot of single dads. Now, what I will say, funny thing is, I happened to I meet a guy over the weekend, and I like the fact that he took the opportunity to clarify, because he was readying himself to say he was a single dad, but he came back and he said, well, technically I'm not. Because that's what he was indicating, is that him and their mom, they share custody. That's a co-parent. That's what a co-parent is. So for them to have that conversation, I would have liked for them to go further in depth and describe what this single dad lifestyle for Lance looks like, and why Nell is, so much in a hurry to be on the rescue for him. Anyhow, so she offers to come over 2 days a week to help. And he kind of, well, first she was saying the baby could come over with her. And Lance was like, well, he doesn't know if the baby would do well, because she's finally getting used to, her space and this and that. So she said, well, I can come over here. Lance says, well, I prefer for you to talk with, Dad, her husband, Chris. And she kind of says, well, if I can't leave my house for 2 days after being married for such and such amount of time, then what kind of marriage do we have? And this leads into this like awkward conversation about they've overcome infidelity and so much more. I thought that was weird, like, and not to say that because her son Lance is in his 30s. So he's a full-grown adult. But I still would think that I don't know. I wouldn't think that you would just use that topic with your son as an example of how you can do what you want to do. Um, Basically, because that was the tone that I took it in. That was the tone that I felt she was saying. Like, basically, I don't have to ask my husband to do, and I don't think that it's a matter of asking her husband to do anything. I think they're married, and before you go make decisions about that, you should talk to your husband because you would expect him to do the same, I would think. Um, so anyway, the next scene oh, nope, not the next scene, but Nell ends up mentioning that Destiny called her and said, you could have told me. Now I don't even know what time frame this is because it sounds like we're talking about a 6-month-old baby, something somewhere around there. And Nell and Chris said they found out that this baby existed while they were at the reunion in LA. Nobody said anything to Destiny, so I imagine that whenever this phone call she's referring to took place, it had to be about 6 months ago. But she needs to bring it up because Lance is part of her storyline. Okay, so they bring up Destiny, say she called her up, said, well, you could have told me about the baby. Nell feels like she doesn't owe Destiny anything. I understand why she would. The exchange they had at the reunion was a little, it was funny. And that's weird that we find out Lance got this random baby, I guess from a one night stand, because they showed not trying to say nothing about like he was in a relationship or anything. Um, and so I'm saying that to say, to think back to the reunion, Nell and Destiny kind of was like snapping at each other. And it seemed a little weird that they were, because Destiny's dating your son. So it was this huge thing about how old Destiny was. And it seemed like Nell was really trying to shade her about her age. Because it felt like, now this is true, it felt like Destiny did not want to say how old she was for whatever reason. Nell seemed to want to out her about how old she was. And yeah, that seemed a little nasty, like seemed like some nasty play. So now that we know that Lance actually has some baby and she found out about this on the same day, it feels like it make a little sense. And I'm almost willing to bet they didn't find out about it that day. Neil probably already knew. And again, it seemed like it made sense to why it seemed like they were snapping at each other. And we didn't understand, like, as an audience, it was off balance because I didn't see anything that technically happened between them that would have them snapping at each other outside of Nell inviting Sonny to the bachelorette party or something. I remember Destiny was like a little PO with Nell about that. Also told her she would have to rethink their friendship. Um, let's see what is next. So Lance pretty much seconds the emotion that he doesn't know that he owes Destiny a conversation, but he doesn't know that he owed her the information ahead of time, but he should have a conversation with her. That's what he said. I don't know what the conversation is for, because I think you just could have told her ahead of time. um but basically he just doubled down and says that their relationship was casual, obviously, with the addition of a baby coming in. Like, does anybody need any clarity about what casual relationship is and where it gets you? Destiny, I thought Destiny would have learned her lesson with that casual relationship she had with the man that was in prison, who ended up marrying her producer. I thought she would have learned a few lessons after that and maybe figured out how to move a little different. This is why Destiny has to get off my television screen, because Destiny Destiny can't find her way out of paper bag. So I'm tired of seeing her in these messed up relationships or non-relationship, whatever it is. I'm tired of seeing it. Anyway, so like I say, he says that their relationship was casual, and Destiny kind of played in his face. So that was another reason why he felt like he didn't owe telling her any information ahead of time. Okay, that was an a-hole move. Of course, Nell is sitting, shaking her head. Now listen, we had a conversation over on TikTok about this because I actually said, Nell was introduced to us as a woman who had gone through infidelity in her marriage and of course stayed in her marriage. So when Mel brought her on the television, when Mel brought her to Love and Marriage Huntsville, she brought her as a way to have a conversation with her, and what it appeared to be was to help her basically kind of stay with her husband. It seemed like that, like, okay, since you've been through infidelity, since you stayed with your husband, like, can you coach me through it? I'm not saying that that's what Mel asked her to do. What I am saying is that's the way it seemed like she was being presented to us. Okay, Mel presented Nell to us by having a conversation with her. And the conversation included how did she get over basically her husband cheating. So with that being said, it doesn't surprise me that Nell has some little Chester the Cheesecat grin on her face while she watches her son, who already has 3 children. Now, I guess he was married to that person who has his 3 children, but he already has 3 children. He is in a casual relationship with one of your castmates, and a baby ends up popping up by somebody you never known, met, heard about. And as he's describing this casual relationship, as a mom, even to this 30-year-old, you don't tell him, like, well, maybe you should pay attention to these casual relationships because it seemed like that's how you ended up in this position. That's kind of what I feel, right? You end like for casual relationships. So, yeah, maybe you should not be so casual so you can get some sleep at night. While you sitting there wanting me to not get no sleep at night, Anyway, what do we think about that whole scene? And when he said he think Destiny played in his face, he's going back to the vow renewal. I guess she was flirting with one of the guys or kind of smiled. I don't know. She a single woman. If she was in a casual relationship, I kind of understand. Right. What are you gonna say? I mean, you ain't snatched me up, duh. But like I said, it's funny that to watch Nell sit there and watch this man have that conversation and not really check him, but she stayed with her cheating husband. And I wonder if that has to do with I don't know. I feel like sometimes the way moms kind of protect their sons that do wrong like that, they have like a misogynistic like loyalty or something. Like you're not a girl's girl. You can't be a girl's girl if you sit up and let your son talk to you about being in casual relationships and you just sitting there smirking. That's it. I'm done with that. Okay, but drop down in the comments and tell me, what did y'all think about that scene? Was that a scene that was I felt that the scene was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. I think it was tone deaf. And when I say tone deaf, there was a way to present that to uplift and to bring awareness to single dads or to dads who are co-parenting, and are having to deal with their schedules in addition to being a dad. But it's not to compare them to single, like it's not to try to pull on the heartstrings of moms. Like, no, I like, can we see him burp the baby? Can we see him actually feed the baby? Maybe the mom doesn't have a release or something for the baby. But what I'm saying is, I would like to see more of him actually taking care of his baby. I don't want to see more of his mother coming over trying to take his responsibility on for him. I'm not here for it. Back to the next scene. So we got Kimmy, Tisha, and Destiny. They go to a local boutique in Huntsville to kind of shop around. Destiny pops in for a spell, okay, because Destiny haven't been on the last two episodes. And also because Destiny told Kimmy, she said she was sorry for missing her dinner, that she had to do a TikTok live. So she do TikTok live sales. Okay. Anybody want to go check her out? That's where she at. What I took note of is she clearly is not getting paid. I keep wondering why Destiny ends up on our television screen. And the rule of thumbs for housewives, right? Not every this is a different production company. I can't say one way or the other, but what I will say is I do think there's an industry like standard. And so I feel like Destiny not getting paid, and that's why she not filming. That's probably why she had not had many scenes that she had filmed prior to, with us not kind of putting two and two together. And because how we say Destiny, we don't really know Destiny, but Destiny's been on this show for like 5 seasons or something. It's crazy. And yet we still don't know a damn thing about Destiny. Literally, we had to find out the guy she was dating had a baby on her when the season came back. Like, we don't know anything about Destiny. Um, but like I say, clearly she's not getting paid. She is a single mom, so she got to get to the money, as she said in this scene. Okay. Um, Kimmy feels Destiny in on Tisha and Nell getting into it at Trisha's party about the podcast, which Tisha states she doesn't know why Nell won't be transparent about her own marriage. That's what she said in the confessionals. I just think this is so deplorable, and I'm disappointed in Tisha about it. Um, I don't like to see Tisha in this mean girl energy like space. First of all, it doesn't fit her. Okay. You know, it's funny that you can tell a lot of times when somebody not being themselves because it look awkward. It feel awkward. Not just to her or on her, but to us, right? We can't accept it. Well, at least I can't. I know some people might be like, yeah, we want to see Tisha boss up. I don't consider what she's doing bossing up. I think she's hazing Miss Nell. I think she's trying to put Miss Nell in her place. Um, Maybe in a nice, nasty way, but being nice, nasty doesn't suit Tisha well. I like Tisha being sweet. I think she should stick with that. That's a better look. That's a better look instead of trying to insinuate anything because Nell is telling you you're not being transparent. I mean, if she is saying that you're not transparent and you know that you are, what else is there to say? That's the thing I think Tisha gets caught up in, is not realizing that sometimes you just don't have to say anything. You can leave it alone. Because most of us who got the sense God gave us, we kind of okay with you staying with your husband. Um, and so let Nell feel like she can pry. Cause that's what happens to people who pry. You running around trying to figure out what's going on in somebody else's window, backyard, whatever. And meanwhile, your whole house is crumbling down because you ain't paying attention to your own husband. You can ask Kenya more about that. Remember when she brought the cookie lady to that lady? Meanwhile, she couldn't get her man to show up nowhere with her. But you can bring the cookie lady in front of somebody. You see? That's what Nene say. When they found out they filed for divorce right after that doggone event they did, she say, well, damn, like you messing around talking about what somebody else going on, and now you ain't even got a husband. Messing around, got your own tail divorced. All right, let's move on. Um, so I didn't like that. And I didn't like what Tisha did last week. Hopefully, I don't know. Like Tisha's been doing YouTube lives. I was hopeful that at the beginning of the season that Tisha would stay out of the comments. Because really that's all you have to do. But the fact that she does on YouTube reviewing the show, and I watched the first YouTube, right? She had the need to feel like she wants to fill in blanks. And this is the part that gets you in trouble. You're on a television show. You don't need to fill in the blanks. What blanks have there even been had on this show for you to fill in? So I haven't watched any more lives after that. Because I'm not interested. I'm guessing somebody else is, but I'm not interested. There's not anything that I need her to go over and explain, especially after these episodes. Like, there's nothing confusing or missing out as far as I'm concerned. So that's what that simple move lets me know that she's back playing to the audience and what the audience thinks. And that's a recipe for disaster. And that's probably what's got her wanting to flex with Miss Nell. And again, Miss Nell is too old for you to be flexing on her like that. Like trying her like that. Like, she too old for that. And you too old to not know that. Nell ain't came for you. That lady ain't came for you. Not really. Now, we'll get to the end conversation. Anyway, so Destiny brings up Martell while they're at the boutique, and Tisha exits stage left. As soon as Destiny got Martell out, like, I was just saying that to Martell, Tisha say, well, that's my cue, and she goes ahead and goes over. So it appears that Destiny is like trying to figure out how to get Martell like in the fold with everybody by filling everybody out. She obviously sees that Tisha is not having it. She asks Kimmy, like, is she gonna be like this all the time? Kimmy pretty much says to Destiny, like, she needs to pick a side. Destiny feels like she doesn't have, like, she's not in the middle. She does feel like she doesn't want to like turn her back on Martell because she feels like Martell is the reason why she knows Tisha and Kimmy. Technically Mel, but okay, you met Mel because you know Martell, whatever. But that's just, there's another reason why I kind of don't F with Destiny. Because you and Mel ain't gotta be friends, but you can keep it 100 about how you got into this group. And it really was Mel. Like, again, you went to high school with Martell. That's who you know, right? That's your childhood classmate, friend, whatever. He introduces you to his wife, and you and his wife become close, and she brings you onto a platform that she started. Damn, why can't you just? But I guess they're not mentioning her Mel's name, so maybe that's the reason why. I'm just gonna be the one to remind folks that it was a little bit different than that. Destiny says, oh, that conversation leads to Lance being brought up. Destiny basically kind of confirms that the relationship had been pretty much casual. But she also said that he started moving funny around the vow renewal. And now she kind of sees why, like, because he must have known that he had this girl pregnant. And instead of telling her, he just started acting funny. Listen, every man Destiny done brought on this show, or every man we have seen her with outside of Martell, has played in her face. Destiny, be with yourself for a while. Work on your business. Leave these men alone. They're not nothing but a distraction. That's why your damn business is in the storage center. If you wasn't fought, meanwhile, Lance is running his construction business. You see how you see what I'm talking about? Having babies and running a construction business, and you trying to get your products off the market. Okay, that's what you should have been doing in the first place, girl. Anyway, I digress. Okay. All right, this scene could have been left out for me as well. Nell and Trisha, they meet. Clearly, these two don't have anyone to film with. Okay. They talk about what happened at the club, they talk about going back to the club, for a double date. Then discuss Tisha and Nell's interaction, like Tisha kind of coming, pointing her finger at Chris, kind of like I'm gonna use the word yell, but I don't think she was yelling. That might not be in a literal sense, but she definitely did cross the line. Nell said the same thing. Nell said she crossed the line, pointing her finger at her husband, kind of seeming like she said had her finger all in his face. Listen, technical or not, everything Tisha did wrong that night, going towards Chris and Nell, was wrong. So it doesn't matter if she is exaggerating or not. It was wrong. Whatever Tisha's action was towards them, it was 1000% wrong. That's it. 1000%. Um, okay. Nell says Tisha is coming for her. It looks that way. And I do think it's because I think she wants to probably run Nell away. Like I said, I think it's because her loyalty lies with Mel. I do get that sense. I get the sense that Nell is not about to throw Mel under the bus under any circumstances. That's why she was PO'd about Ariane coming up to her and that picture being snapped. Cause she like, I wasn't gonna do that, which is why I'm saying Martell is going to ambush those girls or the show and all of us as well with Ariane on camera. I'm telling you, mark my words. I don't know if it's gonna be the season or if she's gonna show up at the reunion, but that lady is on her way. And as soon as she does, that is when I know I'm done with this show. I know I'm done with this show. Because there's no way I'm not about to watch it. And even though I understand that that's his reality, um, but I'm not about to watch a show in which I know this is the lady you cheated with, and then you think you're gonna kind of wrap it up and represent it to me like this is just some girl you met after being divorced, y'all happen to have a baby and you are so in love. Leave it for somebody else. Go cancel this show, repackage that, and sell it to Zeus, because that needs to be over there and not on own. Okay. Let me see, go back. She detailed Tisha. Oh, okay, detailed Tisha getting into her face at her birthday party. So she now used the example of Tisha kind of coming for her last season when it was Nell's birthday party. We chalked it up to her having a little too much to drink, but clearly it was something else. And again, it does feel like she's coming for Nell. It feels like she wants Nell to be put in her place. It feels like with Mel being gone, she wants Nell to understand who's next in line. And I believe she is telling her like it's her, and she want her to get in line with it. So Nell just says she absolutely crossed the line. I totally agree. Trish seemed like she is trying to be a peacemaker to act like if they can move past it. Listen, I wasn't here for the whole scene. Throw it all away. Throw it all away. We see Jalen go visit his mom. While he's there, he ends up letting her know that he had another job offer that was in Huntsville. The job offer was for a lucrative amount that he was happy with. He also did a counter offer, and he that was accepted. So he's gotten the money that he wanted, and it is in Huntsville. So he will not be taking the job in Colorado, and he will be staying in Huntsville. Kimmy could not be happier. She discusses wanting to do a project with him. He said he didn't think he would do the family thing, but she kind of said, well, even if it's just me and you know, she wanted to do something with him. I'm pretty sure that they will do that. Congratulations to Jalen on his new position, his new job offer. Jalen also lets her know that he did speak with Maurice about how he felt about Maurice kind of being more of a mentor. And he really just said Maurice didn't get it. Maurice did not get what he was trying to express. But I do think, listen, I think two things can be true at the same time. Maybe Maurice is stubborn, but I also think nobody is giving him credit for, or I don't like, is it, I don't know, is it bad for him to feel like, it's like I don't mind him not wanting to feel like bad when he know he tried his best. And even though like he may have missed the mark on the way he should have been giving out his love, I like the fact that he owned up to it. He listened to what Jalen said. He apologized to him, and in the best way, I think he tried to reassure him. But Jalen is in his 30s, or yeah, like late, like early 30s. I feel like that's the way he feels. And I don't like, so I'm kind of looking at Jalen like, I wish I could understand what the reaction is that he wanted from Maurice. Because I thought for the most part, I mean, he did what he, I mean, it was the best. I like the fact that he listened to him and he apologized to him immediately. He didn't like try to make an excuse or anything. And he did try to explain, but I think that Maurice really not, just kind of not saying like, hey, anybody would feel like you love your biological children, you know, more than a stepchild. And I feel like that's kind of like, do I want to use the word normal? I'm not really sure. Par for the course, maybe better. Maybe that's a better way, right? And so maybe that's the way Maurice's attitude has come off. But I don't think it's about like not wanting to be accountable. I think it's just more like, okay, maybe he could have asked Jalen like what he could do moving forward to make sure like he didn't feel that way. I don't know. So maybe that's it. But he did say like Maurice didn't get it. Kimmy kind of, you know, agreed and understood that he probably didn't. Um, she tried to, you know, explain like a why, and then let him know, like, well, you know, and that's, you got to take the good with the bad. Like maybe some of it actually did pay off because look at where you are. I can see that. I can see that. Even though I did like this conversation being brought up, and I thought it was something that was cool to be discussed, right? Because I think it's probably more common than not. I do feel like it was just something that was like dug up. You know what I mean? Like I'm not certain that this is a current issue with them. That's kind of the way I put it that way. Chris goes by Lance's job, right? Because he wants to talk to him and he asks him how the baby is doing. Well, while he's there, Chris brings up that Nell is wanting to come by twice a week for 2 nights a week to help him out. You know, he was kind of saying how he could really use the help because he's been tired and it'll help him get some sleep and pull out the violins, baby. Because let me tell you something. I ain't have a soul coming to pick up Nan baby, Nan one, two, three of them, okay? For me to get up and go anywhere to the bathroom, okay? So pull out the violin, honey, because we don't want to hear it. Uh so he asked Chris how he felt about that. Chris said he's not okay with it. Now, he kind of had this chauvinistic way, like, well, would you be okay with your woman being out the house 2 days a week? That's some real country, old school, like, I don't know. But at the same time, I kind of get it. Because I'm like, I kind of get it. Like you say, you're not out of town, you're not on vacation, like you across town, like, but I feel like, but I agree with Chris' main thing, right? Like he did kind of say it that way, and it was kind of like, you're being a little chauvinistic with that. However, his main thing was like, hey, he's like, first of all, we had conversations with y'all grown kids about these boundaries and the way y'all keep stepping all over them, and utilizing us in ways y'all shouldn't because y'all grown. But not only that, he did point out to Chris, like, basically, this your baby. And learning how to feed your baby and get up for work in the morning is part of having a baby. And if you didn't want the baby, I guess you should have wrapped it up. But this your problem. And I agree with him. I don't like when people try to make their problems your problem. Not that you don't want to help people, but that's different, because that's not help. With somebody making their problem your problem, they put something on you like obligation, right? No, your mother should not feel like she needs to come to your house twice a week to keep your baby for you. What you're doing is part of parenting. Get with the program. So that's what I feel like, that's what dads are for, is to come in and be like, excuse me. No, this is gonna go this way. Um, I agree with him. It's Chris' problem. He needs to figure out a way. So he also, Chris also suggests that Lance maybe reach out to Martell, because Martell has his kids 1 week on, 1 week off. And like Chris said, he seems to have a routine. Lance kind of agreed. Like you say, from the outside looking in, he seems to have it under control. We know that I think at this point, all the kids probably go to school, but that doesn't mean anything, because he did have Sugar Mama, that's the little baby Sugar Mama. That she is a trip too. Um, and yeah, like I thought that was a good suggestion. For to have him reach out to Martell so he can let you know how to get it done. Because it is your responsibility to get it done. And it's not to push off on your mother. Even though she did offer, it still is not. So what do y'all think about that? I thought that, yeah, if Martell could give advice about anything, it would have to be that, right? All right, so the last scene of the episode. Ooh, we got through this pretty quickly. Um, Nell and Tisha meet to discuss like everything that happened at Trisha's party. This scene really didn't go anywhere. They sat down. Um, Tisha pretty much kind of told Nell, like, hey, your husband keep coming for my husband. It's the second time he brought his name up. Nell wants to know, well, when was the first time? Tisha said when they talked about going to Atlanta. Well, then that became a discussion about who brought up whose name first. It was the most immature conversation I ever saw. Hey, word on the curb. Hey girl, hey. How you doing? I meant to text you to see if you wanted to come on and do the live, but I figured maybe you might have been busy. How you been? Did you watch the episode this week, honey? I was just kind of getting to this last little scene with Tisha and Nell going back and forth. Like, that was an exhausting scene, and I'm not feeling Tisha's attitude with Nell. I don't know why I do. I feel like Tisha is trying to punish her for having an allegiance to Mel. I think she's trying to put her in her place. Um, and I know Nell, like Tisha is grown and Nell is grown too. But y'all born in y'all raised in the South. Like, don't you know better than to treat your elders like that? Like, why are you coming for that lady so hard? And for what? You know, like I say, so now we had to unpack the Atlanta, and so Nell made sure to throw the dig in about, well, I was in Atlanta with Chris and they went to get me food. I don't know what he did after he left me. I'm so sick of this. Say teacher is acting like Mel now. See, and that's what I said. I don't like that mean girl energy. And here's the difference though. Mel can handle the mean girl energy, right? For whatever reason. I don't know if that mean that make her a mean girl. I'm just saying she can handle it. Tisha, that mean girl, that don't look good on you. It's not a good fit. And it feels forced. It doesn't even feel like it's natural. So I agree with Nell. It looks like you coming for her. And that lady is in her 60s. What's wrong with you? Why are you coming for this lady? You still mad that she referred to you as a mentor or as a mentee? Like, girl, I thought Tisha did good to stay out of the comments, but it feels like she still is like showing up and maybe performing for the comments when it comes to Neil. Um, so yeah, they went back and forth about who brought up whose name first. Um, Tisha ends up walking out, right? Tisha ends up doing this thing, and it is a deflection where she was telling Neil, like, don't raise your voice at me or I'm not going to be able to finish this conversation. I didn't hear Neil raise her voice. I didn't hear her what I consider raising your voice. I didn't hear that. I felt like that was just a way for you to not have the conversation with her. You said Tisha will be in a corner crying when the public get get in her ass. You are right. That's what I mean. Like it seemed like she found like her group of, I don't know what they would call her fans, but her group of fans. And I feel like they are giving her that motivation to come for Nell. But I think I feel like that's the wrong thing. And I don't think that, in my opinion, that wouldn't be the right fan base for her. She probably needs to come on over here to where I'm at, because I'm telling you, don't even worry about these people. Let Nell keep thinking you're not transparent. You look crazy going back and forth with somebody who think they know more about your life than you, especially when there's nothing being presented that would say otherwise. So you look crazy, Tisha, like having a grudge with this lady. You can let this lady just feel like because her husband cheated on her, maybe still is cheating on her, which that's what you tried to insinuate in your confessional. Um, and then that's what, like, everybody's slinging mud. Um, I don't know where I was going with that. That thought just left me. But anyway, everybody's slinging mud. So yeah, I don't like that look on Tisha. And I wish she dialed it back, but it sounds like she probably got the wrong group of fans in her room and she listening to the wrong people. Cause I will tell you, girl, sit back. Okay? Sit on your little throne, honey. You ain't got to do nothing. But anyhow, she ended up leaving, walking out, and they didn't accomplish a damn thing. And that's the end of the episode. Listen, you want to know what I'm rating the episode? I am giving it a straight 3. I feel like that's the first time in even Love and Marriage history that I almost could say it's a 0. Because real talk, when I finish the episode, they can wrap this shit up. They can wrap it up. I love the Scots. I was holding on to the hope that, and this is, for me, it's not, oh, because Mel's not there. Like, it's what it is in general is these stories that's going around, they're not interested. I don't want to see Trisha and Ken And we don't have to worry about Marquez, but I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them. Tisha not gonna talk to Martell about this podcast situation. I halfway don't blame her when it comes to that. It's only the Scots, right? We can watch them build and go to lunch, but again, like there is nothing. And more importantly than anything in the world, we know that Ariana is on her way somehow, some way. And what I'm not going to do, I'm not about to sit up here and watch this show with Martell bringing his mistress turned girlfriend or baby mama or whatever it is we calling it at the time, and him presenting it like it's something new. Like this is just some lady you started dating and y'all happen to have a baby and now you in love. I'm not watching that. I say bring on coleslaw. I'm not watching it. It dawned on me while I was watching this episode, and I think the reason why it dawned on me that way, I'm not watching it. Yeah, they could cancel that. Carlos, wrap this up, repackage that shit, and take it over to Zeus. Martell, Ariane, and Maverick. Gonna take them over to Zeus. Because yeah, I'm not finna which is why I said they would have did better on that YouTube than doing that video with Marceau or with whoever this girl was saying that she was with Marceau. They would have done better to interview each other, talk about whatever it was, because if you was gonna work your way up to Ariane getting on this show, then that's what you need to do. Besides getting all the your mother on board and everybody, you need to get the public on board. And one thing about it, right now, everybody is asking for it. You see word on the curb, bring on coleslaw, okay? Everybody asking for it. Everybody waiting on her. Okay, and we know that we know that there's a release sign because we just seen a picture. They're saying a name. Okay, we know all of that's going on. Why wouldn't you get the fans on board? Why would like? That's why I said he's gonna ambush us all, and I'm not here for the ambush because I'm not finna sit up here and watch you try to recreate history. That's a narcissistic move if I ever saw one. Because you right on national television. You're not even going to take a break and then kind of come back and because that's the way, that would be the way to do it in TV world, right? In TV world, you go away like Phaedra, right? You go, that's why they put the people on pause, right? Go away. Don't let nobody, see them for a while so that whatever happened can fade away. And then by the time they come back, we on to the whole new thing. We on to a whole new thing. But yeah, I'm giving the episode a 3. What about you, Word on the Curve? What would you rate the episode? I'm giving it a 3 though. And now, so this is another thing. I was being real lenient about the season, very lenient. And that's really because I was doing that to and Just Like That, right? Y'all know And Just Like That was canceled. Well, not canceled, but they gave a series finale, okay? So it's not coming back. And thank God for that, because it came to about mid-season, I realized that I was in a narcissistic relationship with this show because it was horrible what they was giving us. Yet I kept trying to see the good in the episodes. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this right now. I'm like really trying to find the good, because I do like the Scots. I don't like those other people. Who are they? Ken, Trisha, and Marquez. I don't like them. I don't like Destiny. But I do like the Scotts. I do like them. However, this is not working for me. Nell and Trish with these scenes that are so freaking cringy, I can't take it. I can't take it. Man. And again, does that equate to Mel needs to be on the show? I ain't sure. Because I'm not necessarily saying that out of my mouth. All I'm saying is, you say, I'm tired of Ken and Trisha and the Fletchers using Lance as a storyline. Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. And the storyline is weak because, yeah, he got a baby that he got to take care of and he got a job. So do everybody else in America. Like, I'm not here for it. I don't feel sorry for him. I agree with Chris. You made this bed. You better lie in it. Like, that's it. That's what it is. You made this bed. You got to lie in it. Okay, that's what I was feeling. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though I have this feeling about what's going on this season, I'm not willing to say it's all because Mel was gone. It probably was all leading up to this simply because of where everything was. Martell and everything he's saying, just the separation between the castmates, them throwing the randoms in there, like the Ken, Trishas, and the Destinies. Destiny clearly isn't getting paid because that's why she ain't been filming. It's because she over on TikTok Live making her some money. So she ain't nobody else. Mel ain't never skipped out on the scene so that she could do her TikTok Live. But I digress. Okay, so that's what I said, honey. I think that was Destiny's way of letting us know Carlos is not paying her, and rightfully so. I am not even suggesting that Destiny is doing anything Carlos needs to pay her for. Um, so yeah, she could just stay gone. You say, where's the baby mom? Right. That I put that in the notes, word on the curve, right at the top. I was like, they seem to have glossed over why is he a single dad? I'm using quotation marks because I don't understand. Is it every day of her life or is it 1 week on, 1 week off? And if it is every day of her life, what did happen? How did you end up with that? Because clearly this person was random, right? I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. What is Destiny selling? I think candles. I don't have no clue because I don't follow that lady. Whatever it is, here's the other part. And now this sucks because, TikTok sales is for everybody. But I wish that Destiny would have figured out some other way to get around doing her stuff because it does just look like you are trying to follow a male blueprint. I was on board when Mel called herself the blueprint. Listen, I'm not a millimeter, but I do like big B energy, fucking big D energy. That's another thing. Like, why was she anyway? I guess it's because of her name, Destiny, but you kind of represent a penis. Like, for that's still very masculine. No wonder this lady cannot keep a man. Even the casual ones, like the casual men are going and popping up with babies on you. Like, girl, you are doing everything wrong. Whatever you are doing, throw the playbook out and get a new one because this ain't working. Find the feminine energy. So that's what she should have called it, big B energy, and been a bitch. Like, it's and not the D, because that's what I'd have said. So I was about to say that, like, I like a little bitch energy. I like it. Nice bitch, not the mean bitch. Okay. But so that's what I mean. Like, with Mel, like, it does feel like you following her blueprint, Destiny. I wish you would have figured out something else, even though it's candles and Mel is not selling candles. It would have made more sense for you to have some kind of cosmetic, some kind of something. The name you named your business Madani Beauty. But you're selling candles. Candles is not even in the beauty industry. You say, girl, he only probably got that baby twice a week. Destiny is supposed to be a real estate agent. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot I saw that on the Instagram because she started talking about she was doing behind the scenes so we could get to know the real her. I don't know how many people from what we've seen is even interested. I don't even think anybody's interested in seeing the real you. I thought that's what we was watching this show for, but I stand corrected. We must need to go follow her over on Instagram so we can see behind the scenes. That's the same thing with Tisha, like in her YouTube. Like you want to fill in the blanks. It ain't a motherfucking blank to fill in. These episodes so dry and dead. What are you filling in, honey? Ain't nothing to fill in. Ain't nothing to fill in. So that's it, and that's that, honey, for the episode. We do see that next week. So it feels like next week there's going to be some conversation. Let's see, around say everybody got social media content. They do. I'm not upset with the content. I'm not upset with the content. I didn't like the caption. And I didn't like what the caption would indicate. Like you say, you get to know the real me. I'm sorry. Did anybody ask for that? But you could say behind the scenes we filming a scene. That's fine. But get to know the real me, girl. You done went too far. Girl, you done went too far, honey. You done went too far. Yeah. And like I say, for me with the YouTube channels, like it's a double-edged sword for me. Like I said, with Tisha, I don't know why I'm not listening to her recap the show. Here's the problem with Tisha, and this is what she don't understand. There are no blanks to fill in. You are on television. Let television do what it does. Stay out, like that's what, if you stayed out the comments, if you stayed off of blogger sites, like you could just live your life and be all right. And you let TV do what it do. Instead of you trying to and that's the problem. It's like that's TV. Even on a sitcom, let's just we're not even talking like reality TV. Let's just talk about a sitcom. Even when it comes to a sitcom, there are things you don't know or see that go on a sitcom that ain't nobody running to YouTube to try to tell you about. Oh my God, but you didn't see in between the scene when such and such did such and such. Let TV do what it do. That is the way it is set up for things to happen and for it to be formulated a certain way. This is another sign that it's time for the show to exit. Because when your castmates, cast, because that's like she's a main caster. So as a cast, when you have forgotten the program, you forgot what's supposed to happen, then that means you're not a part. You don't want to be on television anymore. You don't want to do this anymore. That's literally what's in your contract. It literally tells you that we're gonna tell whatever story we feel like telling. You should be all right with that. You should make like, and you're not giving nobody nothing to switch it around outside of when you doing that little stuff, like walking up on other people's husbands. Like in your confessionals talking about how somebody needs to talk about what's going on in their house. See, that's what opened you up for somebody to stay on your trail about whatever it is they think about your husband. That's it right there. So that's why, like I say, for me, this is all a sign that this season probably needs to come to an end. I don't even want to have a discussion about any other people that need to come on there. I don't know anything about Huntsville. I'm good. Like I only know y'all because y'all brought them to me. I don't need like you don't need to bring me nobody else from Huntsville. Real talk. For real. I was excited about what he did and bringing Huntsville to the forefront. But if this is what we got to look forward to, like a bunch of mess or a bunch of middle-aged women prying into each other's business about whether or not their husband is cheating. You got another girl who won't get a divorce and make up every excuse about why. But claim, swear, honey, swear. She don't want to have nothing to do with that man. And it's not that I don't believe her. I just don't understand why you ain't ran your tail, why you ain't backflipped your to the courthouse and to get those papers filed. You remember to go to the gym every day. I heard Ken and Trisha have possibly broken up. While I'm on that subject, let me do this. Let me go to TikTok right now. Let me go right now. And I'm about to pull up let me see. Let me go to Ken page. We got Ken and his motherfucker. Let me see. Wait a minute. Do y'all what happened though? Been perfectly fine. These are all that's pulling up is I thought this was his name. Let me see. Let me do users. I thought it was Ken the man, but it didn't pull up. No, it didn't pull him up. Because I had seen that he would post his thirst traps, I guess. Like I said, something wrong with him. He got low self-esteem. Hate to be the and the women get down in the comments like, oh, you should leave so and so, this, that, and the third. And so he would like the comments that kind of was saying or suggesting that him and Trisha were not together anymore. So but and it was sporadic likes. So that's how men are so silly because that's kind of how they give themselves away about different things that they doing on social media. What you say? Playing with people's marriages, shaking my head. Yeah, exactly. Okay, you heard they broke up too, which is good. Listen, good. They needed to. Like I said, I think something might be wrong with Ken, but we'll find out. If Ken goes and get him somebody who's completely available the way that he is, who is able to give him children and the family that he seems to want, and he's able to, like step up for that lady the way he seems to want to do, then he's fine. Then fine. I'll go ahead. But listen, I'm probably never gonna know because I don't follow the man and I don't want to see him back on Love and Marriage Huntsville next season. I don't care if him and Trisha did break up. I don't want to see that man again. I wish him the best of luck. In the words of Keke Palmer, sorry to that man. I never seen that man. What she said, I never seen that man a day in my life. Sorry to that man. But yeah, so that would be good if they did. Good for him. because he needs to move on. And Trish, not for nothing, she doesn't need to be on television, and I feel like she does need to be on her own, like fully, meaning she needs to get comfortable with herself, and pour into herself. It's probably a lot of women that need to do that. And that's kind of like, I think I've learned that about even my own self. You know, the most important relationship you have in your whole life is the one you have with yourself. The fastest, I was talking to a lady earlier, she mentioned like people don't do well with reality shows sometimes because of the isolation um that you have to do with it, whether it's like a competition show and you have to go somewhere and you're not like with your friends and family, or even in these cases like they film for so much time, and even though they have their regular lives and things, right, because they have filming times, there's a level of cutoff that you have to give to everybody because you can't talk about what's going on. So that's a form of isolation. And usually, and most people don't do well with that because they haven't spent enough time with themselves anyway, to even get comfortable with themselves, which is a shame. You know, that's a shame and a disservice to yourself. Because I think people could use that to them, to their advantage, right? Using their presence to maybe control you in some way. So you can kind of knock all of that out the park once you know how to be by yourself. What Beyonce say? I got me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end, is what I found out. Yes, yes, yes. All right, y'all. So I'm getting up out of here. I told y'all I'm rating this week's episode of Love in Marriage Huntsville a 3. Look, word on the curb. You heard it here first. She said yes. She is seconding that motion. Okay. Um. So, like I said, I'm giving it a 3. I feel like overall for the season, it's about right there too. Maybe if I can't, I was gonna give it a 4. Just that's just me being nice. Yeah, it's about a 4. It's about a 4. It's going downhill fast. It's going downhill fast, and it's just nothing is going on. And I'm not about to watch a bunch of middle aged women tear each other marriages up, tear each other homes up. It's ridiculous. And I thought they had better class than that, but clearly they don't. All right, y'all. Oh, that's what I say. So it looks like the gang is gonna try to have. They're gonna talk about Martell and maybe talk about how, I don't know, they worried about his mental health, and maybe they're gonna try to bring him back into the fold. Marceau said, "F that man. He don't care about that man's mental health." I don't blame Marceau for feeling that way either. Um, yeah, I just don't. So we'll see how that works. That's when I think Maurice and Martell are going to sit down and have a conversation. We'll see if this helps the season. If Martell can start coming back around somebody else other than Destiny. And we'll see how it go. Y'all know we're gonna review Heart and Hustle Houston on Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday at 8:30. I'm gonna tell you this ahead of time because I believe, I don't have my notebook with me. I believe that I'm going to end up doing one of my cohorts on a Wednesday night. And so that may interfere with the lives going forward, or I may have to push it back. So I'll let y'all know how that go. But right now, we're going to keep it on Wednesdays for now. So we'll do Heart and Hustle Houston on Wednesday. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's see if we're gonna get Word on the Curb on here next week, huh? Word on the Curb, you're gonna try to get in next week if you can. I know she'll try to come in if she can. Until next time, y'all, make sure you like this video. Make sure if you have not already, subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends, family, whoever. And make sure you check out the community tab where you can go over and rate the latest episodes of the shows that we're going to review. And you can keep in touch with me and find out what's going on. You'll try? Okay. Word on the curb, we'll try. Yay. We'll try. Until next time, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye, cousin crew.